A man in love becomes the target of a deadly spirit.
There was 5 marks, like somebody had really dug in and scraped down.
Determined to keep him in its clutches,
This entity was attached to Charles. She was very jealous, very possessive, and very angry.
he searches his family's tragic past for clues.
My grandfather mentioned something like brujeria, which is like Spanish for witchcraft.
Now, he must destroy the evil before it destroys him. In America, there is real evil. It lurks in the darkest shadows and in our most ordinary towns. Between the worlds we see
Someone's in my room.
and the things we fear, there are doors. When they are opened, nightmares become reality. Just north of the trendy and fast-paced city of Miami rests the tranquil seashore of Hollywood, Florida.
It's definitely a place to be. It's so relaxing, and you get away from everyday life, and it's so awesome just walking by the beach. I love it.
In 2010, Charles Gonzalez invites his new girlfriend, Hannah, a single mother of 2, over for dinner.
I met Hannah through a mutual friend of ours. Things were getting a little bit serious between us, so I didn't want her, to meet my mom.
Mama, look who's here.
Ah! Hello. Oh, beautiful.
So nice to
For
meet you.
me? Thank you. Sit down, sit down. It's going to get cold.
Gracias, mamá.
Ladies first. Thank you.
My mom liked what she saw. She liked my mom. They got along pretty well, It was definitely a good day.
Back in Bogota, we used to have these huge family dinners. And Mama would prepare this delicious feast.
I came from Bogota, Colombia. I was born there. It's always in my heart. It's where I grew up.
Well, tell me, what was it like?
Well, there were a lot of us. And we all lived in the same house, if you can believe that.
I grew up with my mom, my grandfather, my grandma, my uncle, my aunt, cousins. It was a big family.
Why? It's just a joke.
Okay, stop playing around, you two. Grandpa's coming home soon.
Sorry.
Hola, how are you?
Hola.
¿Cómo están?
Bien, ¿cómo te fue el día?
Estuvo un poco caliente. A little bit hot. But it was good. Muy buen día.
My grandfather, he did major projects all over the city, building homes. I never saw him resting. He was the head of household. He was the backbone of the family. He was such a presence to respect.
Déjame ayudarte.
Gracias.
De nada.
So, how do I look? Good?
Like his grandfather, Charles's uncle Alfonso also played a big role in his life.
My father died at a very young age, so he was the one that really kind of helped me grow up and tell me what I needed to know. To me, he was like my dad. He raised me. I looked up to him.
All you need is just a dab. Trust me, ladies love it.
My uncle's a very sharp man. He had that swagger to him. He was a ladies' man. He was very classy. And yeah, girls sure loved him, that I remember.
Ay, ay, ay. Don't wait up.
Look at that. Oh my gosh, look at that one.
Such a shame we had to leave.
Well, have you ever gone back?
No.
I miss the family too. I think about Tío Alfonso and Abuelo every day.
In 1990, Charles's family suffered a series of tragedies, including the deaths of his uncle and grandfather.
It's the year that I wouldn't wish to my worst enemy. My uncle was assassinated. He was murdered. Nobody really found out why, who did it. Then I had my grandfather pass away after that. My grandfather was the healthiest man you could find. He was not sick at all. He just passed away. Just like that, just that quick.
Soon after, Charles and his mother moved to the United States in hopes of leaving the past behind.
Hey, don't cry, Mommy. They're still here with us. Just because we cannot see them, they're still making sure we're okay. So I thought that went well.
Yeah, I had a really great time tonight. Your mom is so sweet.
I knew you guys would hit it off.
You know, I really loved hearing about your family in Bogota.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's just so sad hearing about all those deaths happening at the same time. It's like your family's, I don't know, cursed or something. Are you okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
I better get out of here. Told the babysitter I'd be home by 10.
Okay.
But I'll see you this weekend.
Good night.
Despite the years that have passed, childhood memories continue to haunt Charles.
After my uncle died, I started seeing some pretty weird things in the house. I just could hear noises, something loud, bang, boom. Like, trying to get my attention.
Tío Alfonso.
So, how do I look?
Right after his beloved uncle Alfonso was murdered in Bogota, Colombia, Charles Gonzalez began witnessing supernatural events.
Alfonso?
The flies were making some kind of shape, looking like a shadow, almost like a person. I couldn't believe it. I was like, it's not happening. After my uncle passed away, I was a little bit creeped out. People were saying around town that there was a curse put on him.
Now, 20 years later, as an adult living in Hollywood, Florida, the past has mysteriously come back to haunt Charles.
I just heard a loud noise, like when somebody hits something really hard. And I just remember just jumping out of bed, and I was like, whoa. I'm hearing like footsteps coming slowly towards me.
Who's in there?
That night, that's when I knew, okay, I'm not alone. There's definitely something here with me.
For the first time in years, Charles has had a paranormal encounter. He contacts his good friend Pedro Rivera, who recently began working with the Paranormal Consulting Agency.
Pedro was involved with a paranormal group, and I was like, he's gonna know somebody that can help me.
Hey, man.
Pedro, hey, man.
What's going on? You want to break up or something?
What? No, it's not that. No, we're doing great.
Charles is a good friend of mine. I've known Charles since middle school.
So what's up then?
I had an encounter last night. Something I hadn't felt since my uncle's funeral in Colombia.
About a year ago is when Charles shared some stories about his childhood.
You mean it was supernatural?
And we have long conversations about ghosts and apparitions and poltergeists and all that.
I don't know what's going on, man, after all these years. You know, there's gotta be a reason, right? There's gotta be a reason.
Whatever it was, it got my attention. I felt like if it was a spirit, it was maybe trying to watch out for me, perhaps.
Don't worry, all right? We'll figure something out.
Pedro asks the psychic medium on his paranormal team for help. She requests minimal information, just Charles's first name.
Being a physical medium, I usually can feel a spirit. Telepathically, they speak to me. There was a small Spanish man. He had a bandana or like a handkerchief around his neck and was in like work clothes. He was saying to me, something's buried, something's buried. And he was just very adamant about it. This is about whatever was buried.
¡Maldito! ¡Mentiroso! ¡Mentiroso! ¡Mentiroso!
After an encounter with an eerie presence,
Who's in there?
Even though I was alone, I felt something, like the chills would go through my body. And the last time I ever experienced that was back in Colombia, right after my uncle passed away. I didn't know if it was paranormal, I didn't know what to call it. I just knew that it wasn't right. I knew it wasn't something that was supposed to be happening. I was really worried, and I needed to get something done, and done ASAP.
Charles Gonzalez seeks help from a paranormal investigative team. One of the members, a psychic medium, receives a message from a mysterious spirit.
It can be very confusing as far as when a spirit's trying to tell you something, because the message isn't always exactly clear. All I knew that it was a warning.
That's psychic. She described my grandfather to a T.
She described this man exactly as my grandfather would look. It's a strong, short man, gray hair, rough hands, like he's been working. The way he was dressed, color handkerchief that he's wearing, that's my grandfather.
What else did she say?
She thinks he wanted to relay some kind of warning, that he's trying to protect you somehow. She kept saying it had to do with something that was buried. Do you have any idea what he's talking about?
Suddenly, Charles recalls something from his childhood.
The clay figure.
An object he found after his uncle Alfonso was murdered.
Charles, what are you doing? Ma said to help out. You're always playing around.
So, what's the problem with that?
Charles, find something to do.
Do you always have to push me around? I'm just trying to have fun. Jeez.
Wow.
Oh, no. No, 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 no. Oh, no.
Grabbed this thing out of the dirt, and it was made out of clay and just looked like a person. It had a face and everything.
And carved in it are his Uncle Alfonso's initials.
Where did you get this?
It was in there. It was buried in the planter.
It was just kind of weird that this thing would be buried in so deep and in a pot full of dirt. Why would it have my uncle's initials in it?
Clean up this mess now.
La Bruja.
My grandfather mentioned something like Santeria or Brujeria, which is like Spanish for witchcraft.
What is that thing?
I want you to stay outside.
Why? What's wrong?
Go!
Charles's grandfather heads for the family prayer room.
It was common, you know, for a family to have their prayer room. If anyone of our family passed away, they would pray for the souls to make sure that they were, you know, doing okay wherever they were.
No, Dios mío, no.
Grandfather.
Somebody went in there and just started smashing everything, glass everywhere. Those crucifixes were upside down. I couldn't believe it. There was a picture of my uncle.
¡Maldito! ¡Mentiroso! ¡Mentiroso! ¡Mentiroso!
Charles Gonzalez has been haunted by something evil, and his past may hold the answers. After the murder of his uncle in Bogota, Colombia, Charles, then just a boy, unearthed a mysterious clay object outside his home bearing his uncle's initials. Only to then discover the family prayer room destroyed. And his uncle's photo defaced.
It's like a bunch of needles going through his face. This is very disturbing. My grandfather, he was pretty shaken. He fell to the floor and he started crying.
No, Dios mío, no.
I had never seen him cry before.
The clay object appears to be the source of what happened in the past.
My grandfather believed it was created by black magic. And it has something to do with my uncle's death.
Wow, that's intense.
With the shrine and the upside-down crosses and all that, it had to do with something evil.
Did they ever find out who did it?
No. My mom kept me away from all that stuff. So I never really knew what was going on. Then about a year later, we moved.
What happened to the clay object?
I don't know. My grandfather probably destroyed it. It's so weird. Why would he be trying to warn me about it after all these years?
My grandfather is trying to tell me that, you know, be careful, you're being protected, but there's something going on. Maybe I should pay attention.
There's more to his uncle's story.
What?
One afternoon, Charles meets up with his girlfriend, Hannah, but he can't stop thinking about the past.
There was definitely a feeling in the air that it wasn't, something just wasn't 100% right. I was very kind of on edge. My girlfriend noticed it too, you know, she's like, you know, you're not really being yourself.
I feel like we haven't hung out in a while. You seem stressed. You know you can tell me anything. If something's wrong, I want to help.
There's nothing wrong. Actually, I'm just happy that you're here with me. I just wish you didn't have to go home.
Well, kids are staying at my mom's tonight, so I'm all yours.
Are you?
I was like, oh, go away, it's not a big deal. Everything's fine. It felt like somebody had walked through, like somebody had been there. It made the hairs all over my body stand on one end.
Charles Gonzalez has just been attacked.
I felt just this intense burning sensation in my leg.
How did that happen?
It was 5 marks, like somebody had really dug in and scraped down.
Do you have any bandages?
Grab some peroxide. Hannah? What's wrong?
She lifts up her wrist and shows me, and there is the same scratch that I had on my leg on her wrist.
Oh my God.
Charles's worst fear is confirmed. Some kind of evil spirit is after him, and now his girlfriend.
She was upset. She was shaken up.
What is going on, Charles? I need you to tell me the truth.
You remember that night you met my mom, right? The story about the curse? I don't know if it's something supernatural or what's going on. I don't know.
If this can attack me, what about my kids? I can't let anything happen to them.
The news is too much for his girlfriend to handle.
She had never had to deal with any situation like that in her life before.
I'm sorry.
Hannah.
Ultimately, the couple parts ways.
It was hard for me to let her go, but I felt that it was better not to have her than to bear with the pain of, God forbid, something happening to her. I wasn't gonna be able to live with myself if that happened. I need help. I need someone to come and tell me what's happening because this isn't right.
Once again, Charles turns to his friend Pedro.
Once it starts to get physical, it's when you have to react. Now there's action to be taken.
He immediately calls upon his fellow team members, psychic medium S9EP8 and lead investigator Rich Valdez.
Have you ever been involved in the occult in any way?
What do you mean, like witchcraft? No. Never.
What about that clay object you found back in Colombia? You told me it was buried. And in Desiree's vision, your grandfather was trying to warn you about something buried, right? Remember? It even had something that looked like your uncle's initials on it.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with me?
Someone placed a curse on that object with the intent to hurt your uncle. And now, whatever negative entity that was attached to the object, it's after you.
Whatever was going on in Charles's life at the time was probably correlated with the object that he had unburied as a child.
Maldito!
The transference of energy, especially when it comes to a curse, has no time. It can happen immediately. It can happen a few weeks, a few days, a few years. What may have triggered it finally with Charles is he finally reached that point of complete happiness. And that is when this negative spirit actually started manifesting. And before you knew it, his life was in shambles.
Still, Charles doesn't know why anyone would place a curse on his uncle.
I don't understand. Why would someone want to hurt him?
Did he have any enemies?
No. Everyone loved Tio Alfonso.
A scorned lover, perhaps?
That's when it automatically sparked. The light bulb went off.
It was her.
Oh, I didn't know anyone was still up. Remember Elena?
The pleasure.
I know who she is. And she's not welcome in this home.
There was talk in the town that she could have been possibly a witch and that she could have been practicing witchcraft. My grandfather did not like her. He did not like her at all. He was pretty angry and told her, you have to leave. Don't come by here. You're not welcome here or even close to any of us in the family.
Come on, Papi. You can't be serious.
She's got you under some kind of spell, and I won't allow it. Do you understand me? I won't allow you to ruin my family.
I remember him telling my uncle, you either pick her or you pick us.
It's probably the best that you go. We can work this out later.
You coward! You told me you loved me. Lies. And you think you're better than me?
You have no idea what I'm capable of, old man. This isn't the last you've seen of me.
The scorned woman invoked the curse in order to exact revenge.
You think it's so easy to get rid of me? I'll never let you free. Just know this, mi amor. You and your family will pay dearly.
Okay, so now what? Huh?
We have to break the curse, or the entity will continue to haunt you.
I felt just like a negative energy.
Are you okay?
For more haunting, visit tlc.com. As a young boy in Colombia, Charles Gonzalez discovered a clay object etched with his uncle's initials. Charles suspects it was created by his uncle's scorned lover, who placed a curse on him and his family.
Maldito!
She wanted to hurt him. She wanted to damage him. She wanted to hurt the family. And we all felt it.
It's now years later. A psychic medium senses that the entity attached to the object has set its sights on its next victim, Charles.
Are you okay?
It looked like a woman. She was very jealous, very possessive, and very angry. This entity was attached to Charles.
The entity. It's female by nature, and she wants you all to herself. She's the reason why you and your girlfriend broke up.
We have to move now. Your future depends on it.
In order to break the entity's attachment to Charles and end the curse, the team brings in their occult expert, Angel Garcia.
It appears that she was practicing brujeria, which is similar to Santeria, and she was creating objects and doing things just to control.
Do you have the replica?
Yeah.
Because Charles does not have the original clay object, he was instructed to recreate it.
We needed to have something he can hold, something he can see.
It's time. Please, step forward.
Angel begins a ritual to end the curse by pouring a salt ring around Charles.
Salt has always been known through the years to be protective against anything occult, dark, scary. The ring of salt is a protective circle. The last thing you need is somebody to pick this up and now carry this burden of, I have the curse with me. So people needed to feel protected. They needed to feel that they were in a sacred space.
Yunus. Anum. Iron.
It was important for all of us to be there during the ritual because we needed everyone's energy. We were all just very on edge and very much wanting to help him and get rid of this for him. This isn't something that one person could have handled by themselves. The entity didn't show me itself that night, but I could still feel that it was with Charles. It was definitely still there.
Sanctum Inum Vigilis.
I stood in the middle of that circle and I prayed to my uncle and my grandfather to give me the strength to get rid of this thing, to send it away where it would not hurt anyone.
I break the curse cast upon me and mi tío Alfonso Ferdinand González and the future members of mi familia.
And I grabbed this figure and I crushed it in my hands and I threw it to the sea. And I felt the biggest weight come off immediately.
The curse has been broken.
You could feel the energy flow different, and it was all stemming from him. He broke this energy, physically, feeling he was released. All he did was shift his energy to now, I'm in charge. I'm the one who's protected. I'm the one who destroyed this, and let this be.
Ever since the ritual, Charles is confident he's free of the curse.
Life is good today. Life is awesome. And I feel like I'm back to myself again. I can be happy. Paranormal to me now is something so natural, so common. It's like oxygen and water. To me, it's very real. If anyone says that it's not real, it's because they're ignorant. Or they haven't been through it themselves. And I hope they don't go through it themselves. It's pretty disturbing. It's scary. I don't want to wish that upon nobody.